Let's get brutally honest for a second. Women aren't as mysterious as society makes them out to be. Complicated? Sure. Beautifully layered? Absolutely. But impossible to understand? Not even close. The truth is, every woman, no matter how confident, guarded, or put together, carries hidden switches in her heart. Emotional buttons that, when touched with the right energy, bypass her defenses and go straight to her core. And no, I'm not talking about playing games. This isn't about manipulation. It's about awareness. About becoming the man who no longer gets played, no longer gets lost in confusion, but instead stands calm, grounded, and magnetic. Because while most men exhaust themselves chasing, proving, and performing, you'll be the man she remembers. The one who doesn't flinch, doesn't beg, and doesn't lose himself. Today, I want to share with you 9 of the deepest weaknesses women have, not to exploit them, but to understand how attraction really works. Some of these will shock you, some will make you smirk, and some will explain why that breakup you never understood actually happened. So listen closely, because once you get this, the entire game flips. 1. Confidence that stands without applause. Confidence isn't about how loudly you speak or how exaggerated your gestures are. True confidence is quiet. It's not in the way you puff your chest or in how much you brag about your achievements. It's the energy you carry when you walk into a room knowing that you don't have to prove anything to anyone. That kind of confidence doesn't ask for applause, it simply exists. And women feel it instantly. Imagine a man at a dinner party. One guy is talking nonstop about his new car, his gym routine, his job promotion. He laughs louder than anyone else, trying desperately to be noticed. Across the room sits another man, calm, collected, speaking little, but when he does, every word carries weight. Which one do you think she'll remember at the end of the night? It's the second man, not because he shouted the loudest, but because his silence spoke louder than any words. Women mirror the energy you project. If you walk into her life with neediness, trying to over-explain yourself, she feels that desperation and withdraws. But if you stand solid, grounded, and self-contained, she leans in. Because that energy is rare. In a world full of men scrambling for attention, the man who doesn't need attention shines brightest. This kind of confidence isn't arrogance. Arrogance says, I'm better than everyone else. Real confidence says, I'm enough, whether you notice or not. A woman doesn't want a man who is always fishing for compliments or validation. She wants to feel your solidity, the kind that doesn't crumble when she tests you, the kind that doesn't panic when she pulls away. When you stop asking for her approval, she feels safe around you. That's the paradox most men don't understand. The moment you no longer chase, you become the man she chooses. It's not about posturing or pretending. It's about knowing your worth without needing anyone else to stamp it with approval. True confidence doesn't live in your words. It lives in your silence. The man who can be still, who doesn't flinch when tested, who doesn't collapse into over-explaining. He is the man women remember. Number 2. The power of being understood without words. Women live in a world where they're constantly told to explain themselves. Why are you upset? What's wrong with you? Calm down. Over time, that pressure to explain becomes exhausting. And many women stop talking, not because they don't feel, but because they're tired of defending their emotions. This is where most men fail. They think listening means waiting for their turn to speak. They try to fix the problem instantly, offering solutions before even hearing the whole story. But a woman doesn't always want answers. She wants presence. Think about it. Imagine she comes home after a long day, frustrated and overwhelmed. Most men jump in with advice. Quit your job if you hate it. Ignore your boss. Don't let it get to you. But the man who simply sits beside her, listens fully, and says nothing until she's done, that man disarms her. His silence says, you're safe to be yourself here. I once heard a woman in her 60s say the moment she fell in love again wasn't when a man brought her flowers or whispered something romantic. It was when he simply noticed her sadness and sat quietly beside her, holding space. He didn't ask her to explain. He didn't try to fix her. He just stayed. That silence meant more to her than any grand gesture. The truth is, women crave to be felt more than they crave to be understood. They want to know that when they're hurting, when they're lost in thought, when they're silent, you won't run, you won't panic, you won't demand clarity. You'll just be there. This is a rare skill in today's world. Most men can't handle silence. They feel the need to fill every gap with words. But the man who can sit with her without needing constant reassurance, that man becomes unforgettable. Being understood without words is not about being psychic. It's about being present. When you look at her and sense her energy without forcing her to explain, you show her something most men never do, that she doesn't need to perform around you. That's the kind of emotional safety that melts walls she's carried for years. Number 3. Masculine silence that anchors, not abandons. Silence is a double-edged sword. Used wrongly, it feels like punishment, cold, distant, a wall that pushes her away. But used rightly, it becomes one of the strongest forces of attraction. Masculine silence, when grounded, is not avoidance. It's power. It says, I'm steady. I don't need to react to every storm. Most men fear silence. When an argument rises, they panic. They talk too much, defend too much, justify too much. But that only proves instability. Women notice when your words are reactive, when your silence is avoidance, or when you're truly anchored. Think about it. When chaos erupts, what happens if you don't fight it? What if you stand still? She feels your calm, and that calm becomes her safety. A woman may scream, test, or create drama, but she does it subconsciously to see if you'll collapse. The man who collapses confirms her fears. The man who remains calm confirms her trust. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the essence of masculine silence. It's not retreat, it's control. A man who doesn't react impulsively creates an aura of strength. His silence isn't cold, it's grounded. And that silence speaks volumes. It tells her, I don't need to win this argument. I don't need to panic. I am here. I am steady. Most men think power comes from dominance. But true masculine power comes from composure. When your silence carries warmth, not coldness, she feels safer with you than with anyone else. That's why masculine silence, when done right, is magnetic. Number 4. The mystery that sparks her curiosity. Human nature is drawn to the unknown. Think about the last time you watched a movie where you couldn't predict the ending. You were glued to the screen, weren't you? That same principle applies to attraction. Mystery fuels curiosity, and curiosity fuels desire. Most men, in their desperation to win a woman's heart, spill everything at once. They overshare. They talk endlessly about their past, their dreams, their struggles, even their insecurities. It feels like a strategy. If she knows everything about me, she'll see how real I am. But in reality, it kills intrigue. It's like reading the last page of a novel before you even start the first chapter. Where's the excitement in that? Now imagine the opposite. A man who shares pieces of himself slowly, who leaves room for her to wonder. Not because he's hiding, but because he values pacing. He lets her earn the deeper parts of him. Suddenly, she's leaning forward. She's asking more questions. She's replaying conversations in her head, trying to piece the puzzle together. That's attraction at its purest. It's the pull of curiosity. There's an old saying, familiarity breeds contempt. When everything is laid bare too quickly, nothing feels special. But mystery preserves rarity. A woman doesn't want a man who unloads his entire life story in the first few weeks. She wants to feel like she's discovering you layer by layer, like an unfolding adventure. Think of James Bond, not just as a character, but as a symbol. He never rushes to explain. His silence leaves room for imagination. And that's what hooks people. Women aren't asking for you to play games or manipulate. They're asking for you to hold back just enough to make the journey of knowing you exciting. Mystery isn't about secrets, it's about restraint. It's about recognizing that not everything needs to be explained, defended, or broadcasted. When you carry yourself with an air of depth, when she feels there's more to you than what's on the surface, you ignite her natural curiosity. And once curiosity is lit, attraction follows like fire chasing oxygen. Number 5. Space that makes the heart lean in. Have you ever noticed how absence has a way of magnifying presence? When someone's always around, always available, always responding instantly, you stop valuing them. But the moment they pull back, suddenly, you feel their absence deeply. This isn't just psychology, it's human biology. Space creates desire. Most men suffocate relationships without realizing it. They text too often, call too frequently, check in constantly. Their fear of losing her drives them to overcompensate with presence. But here's the paradox. The more you chase, the faster she runs. The more you cling, the more she craves freedom. But imagine this instead. You give her room. You don't rush to reply to every message. You don't rearrange your life every time she's free. You stay busy, purposeful, grounded in your own world. That space doesn't push her away, it pulls her closer. Because suddenly, she feels the void of your absence. She wonders where you are, what you're doing, why you're not orbiting around her like every other man. Absence creates contrast. Think about your favorite song. If it played 24/7, would you still love it? No, you'd grow numb to it. But when it comes on after silence, you feel every note. The same applies to relationships. Your silence, your distance, your space, when given with intention, makes your presence hit harder. One of the oldest truths in love is this: distance makes the heart grow fonder. When you stop filling every moment with noise, she starts to lean in. She begins to miss you. And missing you is the root of attraction. Giving space doesn't mean ghosting. It means living fully. It means being so complete in your own life that when she's with you, she feels your world pulling her in. That balance of closeness and space is what keeps desire alive. 6. Stillness that radiates strength. In a world that moves too fast, stillness is rare, and rare things are valuable. When everything around you feels like chaos, the one who remains calm becomes the anchor everyone holds on to. Women feel this deeply. Most men think strength is about muscles, about aggression, about dominance. But strength isn't about how loud you roar. Strength is about how still you can remain when life tests you. Because stillness is not weakness, it's control. It's saying, the storm may rage, but I don't move. Imagine you're on a ship in rough waters. The captain who panics spreads fear to everyone. But the captain who stands calm, steady, composed, he brings peace to the entire crew. That's what masculine stillness does in a relationship. It gives her permission to relax, to soften, to trust. Women constantly test this without even realizing it. They want to see if you'll break under pressure, if you'll explode in anger, if you'll crumble when challenged. And most men fail. But the man who stays still, who doesn't take the bait, who doesn't react impulsively, he earns a respect few ever reach. This doesn't mean silence that's cold or distant. It means silence that's alive, present, grounded. It's not the stillness of absence. It's the stillness of strength. And that strength radiates. She feels it in your presence. She trusts it more than words. The truth is, women don't fall for the man who always has the right answer. They fall for the man who doesn't collapse when things go wrong. Your calm becomes her safety. Your stillness becomes her anchor. And once she feels that, she won't want to let it go. Number 7. The untouchable energy of a man who doesn't chase. There's a unique magnetism in the man who doesn't chase. He's not cold, he's not arrogant, but he's untouchable in a way that fascinates her. Because every other man is running after her attention, yet he isn't. That alone makes him unforgettable. Think about it. Scarcity creates value. The diamond isn't valuable because it's shiny. It's valuable because it's rare. When you're the man who doesn't chase, who doesn't beg for validation, who doesn't orbit her every move, you become rare. And rarity always creates desire. Most men, when they like a woman, make her their center of gravity. They text her all the time. They cancel plans for her. They make her the sun, and they become the planet revolving endlessly around her. But women don't fall for planets. They fall for the stars that stand alone, burning bright, whether anyone's watching or not. The man who doesn't chase isn't heartless. He simply values himself. He knows that attention given too freely loses its weight. He knows that real love can't be forced. It must be drawn naturally. And so he waits. He holds back. He gives just enough to spark interest, but never so much that he becomes predictable. This untouchable energy is intoxicating. It makes her wonder why you're different, why you're not chasing like everyone else, why you seem complete without her. And that mystery pulls her closer. She leans in. She invests more. She tries harder, because deep down, she wants to win what isn't easy to win. When you stop chasing, you stop bleeding your power. You stop handing away your worth. And suddenly, she starts chasing you. That's the paradox most men never understand. The less you chase, the more you're chased. Number 7. The untouchable energy of a man who doesn't chase. There's a unique magnetism in the man who doesn't chase. He's not cold, he's not arrogant, but he's untouchable in a way that fascinates her. Because every other man is running after her attention, yet he isn't. That alone makes him unforgettable. Think about it. Scarcity creates value. The diamond isn't valuable because it's shiny. It's valuable because it's rare. When you're the man who doesn't chase, who doesn't beg for validation, who doesn't orbit her every move, you become rare. And rarity always creates desire. Most men, when they like a woman, make her their center of gravity. They text her all the time. They cancel plans for her. They make her the sun, and they become the planet revolving endlessly around her. But women don't fall for planets. They fall for the stars that stand alone, burning bright, whether anyone's watching or not. The man who doesn't chase isn't heartless. He simply values himself. He knows that attention given too freely loses its weight. He knows that real love can't be forced. It must be drawn naturally. And so he waits. He holds back. He gives just enough to spark interest, but never so much that he becomes predictable. This untouchable energy is intoxicating. It makes her wonder why you're different, why you're not chasing like everyone else, why you seem complete without her. And that mystery pulls her closer. She leans in. She invests more. She tries harder, because deep down, she wants to win what isn't easy to win. When you stop chasing, you stop bleeding your power. You stop handing away your worth. And suddenly, she starts chasing you. That's the paradox most men never understand. The less you chase, the more you're chased. And that, my friends, is the truth about making her miss you. It's not about tricks. It's not about games. It's about stepping into your power, valuing yourself, and creating a life so magnetic that your absence is felt more deeply than your presence. If you stayed with me until the end, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your time, your focus, and your energy mean everything, and I don't take that lightly. Remember this. Love is not about chasing, it's about becoming. And when you rise into your best self, the right person will never have to be forced to miss you. They simply will. So until next time, stay strong, stay grounded, and never forget your worth. Thank you for listening, thank you for growing with me, and goodbye for now. Until we meet again in the next video. Number 9. Silence that demands respect. At the end of it all, silence has one final gift: respect. Not the kind of respect that comes from fear or from dominance, but from dignity. A man who can remain silent when provoked, who can walk away from drama without explanation, who can hold his ground without needing to justify. That man is respected. Most men talk themselves out of respect. They over-explain, over-defend, over-apologize. But the man who doesn't, who chooses silence when words would cheapen him, he earns respect effortlessly. Because silence, when rooted in strength, communicates more than words ever could. Respect is the foundation of desire. A woman may play with men she doesn't respect, but she'll only commit to a man she respects deeply. And respect isn't demanded, it's commanded. It's commanded through the way you carry yourself, the way you stand still in chaos, the way you refuse to lower yourself into pointless noise. Silence demands respect because it shows restraint. It shows you're not controlled by impulse, not desperate for approval, not easily shaken. It shows you choose your battles. And that choice makes your presence heavier, your words more valuable, your energy harder to ignore. When you master silence, not cold silence, but dignified silence, you elevate yourself. And once respect enters the picture, attraction follows naturally. Because deep down, every woman knows this. Love without respect doesn't last.